and the coral reefs to sustain, you know, the vegetation to look good. And as the other gentleman said too, you can look out the window and just sit on your piles of money. Don't think so.
Hello, my name is Dave Kovar, KOV is in Victor They Are. I live in Safety Harbor at 305 Los Prados Drive. I appreciate this is a great event and giving us an opportunity. I'm with the Tampa Bay Clean Air Coalition, Sunshine State Coalition. I made this speech at dozens of events. It's the same speech that applies to solar power, just like it does to transit, just like it does to health care. And that is, I'm tired of the way that America measures cost. There's a story, where's the person with the blueberries? Bear with me. When someone clear cuts a mountain for its coal, that makes money for the gross domestic product. If they turn around and send those workers into dark pits and they work all day and don't come out for air, that adds money to the GDP. When they burn the dirty coal, that adds money to the GDP. And here's my favorite one. If everybody within 100 miles gets cancer, that adds money to the GDP because we can hire more people in the hospitals, more pills from the pharmacy, and of course more grave diggers and sell more graves in the cemetery. Those are our job creators. We hear again and again that solar doesn't pay, that Germany has to subsidize solar, and that that these other states have said, we know that Germany subsidizes it, and that other states have reached these savings goals that the profit makers dispute. We hear that coal is cheap, that fracking gas is cheap, that nuclear is cheap, but somehow solar power is expensive, and that's because of the way costs are measured. People don't put a cost on cancer. People don't put a cost on pollution. People don't put a cost on the quality of life, and I frankly am sick and tired of it, whether we're talking about transit, whether we're talking about Medicare, whatever. The value of drilling in public parks, national parks, Alaska, it's all the same. We're not measuring costs. Thank you very much.
Good evening. I'm Kathy Harrison. I'm the Florida organizer for Gulf Restoration Network. And we are also a member of the coalition. Thanks to everyone for doing everything you did tonight to make this happen. I do this for my grandson, and you can't see it, it's small, but I've got a picture of him tonight. He's 10 years old. He's the only one in our family with asthma. The only one born and raised here in the Tampa Bay area. So it's not genetic. You know, this is causative. But one of the things I want to talk about that hasn't been touched on that you may not realize, the Public Service Commission, by not pushing renewable energy standards, by not pushing energy efficiency, creates a trumped up need, quote unquote, need for new energy plans in this state. It is a manufactured number. And what the result of it, you might not realize that even now, Florida Power and Light, and a company called Spectra Energy, is pushing to build a 300-mile natural gas pipeline called Sable Trail through our springs and rivers, through the Green Swamp, going to Orlando, going to the other coast. Why? Because we have a need which they have created for us. That is why you need to push for energy efficiency standards. The 1% should be happening now and should be happening every year. That is a direction we need to go to create jobs, to make this state a livable place, and to save our water. Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Rosemary Gruber. I'm a resident of Brooksville, Florida, in Manor County. I've come down here to St. Pete today so that my words can be heard by the Public Service Commission, who doesn't feel that the public has any right to make a comment. I think that the Public Service Commission should remember that its name is Public Service Commission, and that their job is to serve the public and not their own pockets and the greed of the giant power companies in our state. I would exhort them to pay close attention to the new EPA standards and to push very hard for our utility companies in Florida to get in line and also serve their customers. Thank you.
My name is Greg DeCosmo. I'm the 1951 Bayou Grande in St. Pete, and that's in the Shore Acres area. So those of you who are local, you know that if ever water rising, we're the first to know. We live on the water, but when the water rises, we have water front to impact. So experience that, and I've got to see St. Petersburg Commission folks here in Mills County because we are on the front line of climate change. We're the first to be affected. And I think that we should be on the front of the lines as far as protesting what's happening in the Public Service Commission. We've got to see if they're going to take the buses to Tallahassee. Plan on being one of the buses. But the other thing I wanted to say is that sometimes Public Service Commission, someone said it, sometimes their job is to not hear because they're being paid to not hear, not to pay attention. And so I'm a big proponent of catching people's attention with nonviolent cooperation and protesting. I just had an idea. I don't know how sound or safe it is, or if it will burst. I need to more safe and experienced persons in the room. But I would think that if on July 19th, the Saturday before, everyone at 4 o'clock in the afternoon turned off their air conditioners, turned off their lights, and if they won't save energy, we'll show them how it's done. And of course, there is safety concerns as far as power outages and stuff. I think that's something that we could do, and to do that in Pinellas County or St. Petersburg, and that might get some attention.
Hi, I'm Julie Kessel. I'm the president of the League of Women Voters of the St. Pete area, and I'm speaking on behalf of the League. Our location is in downtown St. Petersburg at 233 North. I'm also a resident of St. Petersburg. The League of Women Voters of Florida and local St. Pete area support state legislation for energy conservation and greater use of renewable sources, such as solar energy. The League encourages the efficient use of energy in the public and private sectors, new construction, and that it commits state funds to achieve those goals. This position is rooted in intense study and our resultant commitment to conservation of our natural resources and the environment, our support for sustainable economy, and the promotion of effective solutions in transportation, including mass transportation. We've got the following specific concerns. One, we already have legislation in place in Florida to improve energy efficiency but limited enforcement. We have technologies that are homegrown, available, and the intellectual resources here to make renewable energy a reality, but outsource those resources. We've left our residents with limited affordable energy options. Our commitment to renewable energy has actually gone down in the last 5 years rather than up. Our power companies continue to endorse substantial further reductions and reversal of renewable energy standards. Public Service Commission does not make public comment easily accessible to its residents, making the process not transparent. We're not training the next generation of skilled workers in this area and putting people to work in a clearly robust economic sector. The impact of these things, our failure to invest in renewable energy sources, is disingenuous. It doesn't represent the interests of its residents, doesn't support the development of a sustainable economy, doesn't trust its citizens to make effective, affordable choices for their families, and compromises our collective physical health. We respectfully request the following. One, hold public hearings. PSC, hold public hearings. Make the process more transparent. Increase civic engagement in decision. Meet standards that are already in place. Meet standards established most recently by the EPA and reduce carbon emissions and address climate change in a meaningful way. Use resources we already have in Florida. Encourage private and public sector investment, put people to work, expand the solar pilot program, and incentivize residents and businesses to move to renewable sources of energy in their homes and places of work respectfully. Thank you.
Yes, my name is Patricia Plantamura. I'm a city council member in Seminole, Florida. And I took some random notes, so bear with me here. I want to say first that Florida is a peninsula, and Pinellas County is a peninsula on a peninsula. Should we not be speaking up tonight? In fact, if we're not speaking up tonight, it's like sitting on a branch in a tree with a saw and sawing the branch that you're sitting on slowly. Well, this is going to accelerate, and the consequences are going to come a lot more quickly if we proceed in the manner in which we're doing. About 6 months ago, I spent 3 weeks in Germany, and the people there, it was an urban fellowship, they sent me back with the German energy plan through 2050, the German energy plan through 2050. And the bottom line, one of the principles is the German government set itself the goal of making Germany one of the most energy efficient and environmentally sound economies in the world while maintaining competitive energy prices and a high level of prosperity. And I have to emphasize that because I think a really, something that does not occur to people a lot is that to be environmentally responsible does not mean that it's excluding you from being economically prosperous. These are not mutually exclusive ideas. And when we get that, we will move forward and we want both. And let me just tell you a couple of the German plan things here. Like they have goals like primary energy demand will be progressively reduced by 80% by 2050. By 2050, every building in Germany will be climate neutral. Another thing, after Fukushima, they were not only taking out some of their nuclear plants, but they're accelerating taking them out because they see the writing on the wall. And did you say stop over there? Oh, is it up? Am I up? Oh, okay. Then I guess that means I better stop. Let's just hack on. That was 2 minutes already. Good God. I'm a politician. Let's stop chopping the branch we're sitting on, okay?
Actually, with that, I apologize. I do have to this until 9 o'clock, which is around that time. And I don't want to suppress anybody's voice. The PACs are good at doing it by themselves. We actually want to take your public comment on the comment cards. We want you to fill those out if you're unable to make a comment at the microphone or interested in writing it down. We want to hear your comment that way. And yeah, we can go ahead and finish up the line here. And I'm going to introduce afterwards our organizer, Julia Bill. Well, we'll go ahead and finish up the rest of the comments, and just to let everybody know where. Please fill out the comment cards if you didn't get a chance to speak.
Good evening. My name is Winnie Foster, and I live at 311 57th Avenue South. I'm a grassroots organizer at the Sojourner Truth Center, and in studying Sojourner Truth's life, we know how important it is to speak truth to power. And so we're speaking our truth tonight to the Public Service Commission and sending many heartfelt messages and facts to them. I'm also, our organization is also a member of the Sunshine State Clean Energy Coalition, and we appreciate this community building work that is going on in all this. I'm a great-grandmother, and I am very concerned about global warming and what is this going to mean to future generations, but also to our lives right now. And the global warming is like a heavy blanket coming down on top of us. And some of the reasons for that are directly traceable to the work of the Public Service Commission and the permission that they give to utilities to use the fuels that they are using. Let me give you some statistics. The statistics, the amount of CO2 that is in our atmosphere comes from 44% of it is utilities are using coal, burning coal, and we know about the asthma. And 36% of the CO2 is from the burning of fossil fuels. we say to the Public Service Commission, keep the dinosaurs in the ground. 20% comes from the natural gas, and then we know the other complications of getting the natural gas and polluting widely everywhere that it goes. So I think we all need to do our civic duty, and that's the thing that I hear all the time, and I'm going to stand.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, I'm Rahul. I live at 2519 Driftwood Road in St. Petersburg. I understand that Germany is the first solar energy producer in the world. We are the Sunshine State. I am wondering, where does the cloud cover that prevents the efficiency of solar energy in Florida comes from? I'll let you speculate. Thank you.
My name is Chuck Turgeon. I am a citizen of St. Petersburg, Pinellas County, Florida, United States, and the world. I take my citizenship and my responsibilities as a citizen pretty seriously. Not just am I responsible to myself, I'm responsible to my community and the future. I ask that the Public Service Commission consider their responsibility, not just to themselves, but to also to their communities and to the future. I ask that they do what they can to serve the public that they should be serving, that they diminish the perception of corruption. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to look and see money flowing into Tallahassee from power companies and then see policy made by the Public Service Commission that benefits power companies. Even if there isn't a direct quid pro quo, there is the perception of corruption that erodes our confidence as citizens in our elected and non-elected leaders to do their job. I ask that they do what they can to make the standards for energy efficiency much more robust than what they are doing. And absent that, they will perpetuate that perception of corruption. And it is our job to organize and to shame them, every one of them, for sacrificing our future.
Yes. My name is Mark Skogman. I'm the host and executive producer of Spectrum 360 and the Tantalk Radio Network. Dr. Helen Kellegott, a well-known anti-nuclear activist, has stated that 20% of the electricity in the United States is wasted. What is the percentage of energy in the United States that's generated by nuclear power? 20%. We can eliminate nuclear power with energy efficiency and increasing renewables. We need to commit to a Manhattan-style project, renewable energy and energy security program in this country now. We can't let people who are obstructionists and wallowing in abject stupidity stop us from saving our civilization. Thank you.
With that, we will conclude the public comment portion of the night. And before we wrap up, we do have some elected officials here that I know got a chance to speak and wanted to see if you had any comments or reactions from the public comments that were made. Anybody like to say anything? Commissioner.
Good evening. Thank you all for coming and staying tonight. This kind of reminds me of some debates we've had on the commission where you just kind of wonder where the logic and the common sense is. My colleague on Seminole Council said, you know, we are optimistic. If anybody ought to be concerned about climate change, it's sea level rise in Pinellas County. We are the Sunshine State. If anybody ought to be doing more with solar power and renewables, it's the state of Florida. This is just common sense. And I told Julia that I wanted to get the facts. I think I've got a lot of facts here tonight. I do want to tell you that the County Commission last year made sea level rise and climate change one of our strategic priorities. And I want to take this back to the County Commission. I want to take this information back to the County Commission and see how we can go this up. So thank you all for being here.
Yeah, well, I wanted to make one more point. When I was talking candidly for the 3 weeks that I was in Germany with people there, people are very careful about what they tell Americans. And I asked in discussions, please be frank with me about what you think America is doing in its energy policy. And people did not want to be frank. And finally, one group of people said to me, they said, you know, your country has such great ideas, people with great ideas. How come you don't use your own ideas in your own country? They asked me. So, I mean, we're not asking for anything really weird. Let's use these great American ideas for making a better American future. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you very much for tonight. That's our public portion of the event tonight. I actually also want to thank Michelle for being a great work, and everyone give us Michelle. Thanks, such a great job. With that, I'm going to hand it to Julia Hathaway, who's going to tell you about all the great things that we're going to do moving forward. So thank you very much,
everybody. Well, really quick story. I've been doing some work over in West Palm Beach. I was so happy to come back to St. Pete this week and come back and really knuckle down for this event. And I got up. I was supposed to have a breakfast with a friend. I didn't get my wake up call. Okay, so I was a little mad. And then I went to turn on the shower. There was no hot water. I was a little mad. And then I couldn't put it in my hair dryer in the socket and actually make it function. And I went from socket to socket. And I thought, okay, well, what are the odds that my day is starting so badly? And then I thought, okay, I'm going to go to the office and dry my hair really quick and run. And I get to the hallway, and the lights are out in the hall. And I go to try to find stairs or something, and I do a face plant because there are stairs that I can see. And I'm like, coincidence? So anyway, thank you, Duke Energy. Finally turning the lights on, if you did. But anyway, so the important thing to take away tonight is that we have started something very, very important. And it is essential for each and every one of us to stay engaged. And because of this coalition, there are many ways in which to stay engaged. First of all, get your common card. There are papers. We have, you'll see in your program, we have a site where you can go and click through comments. Tim is setting on the telephone line. We will do a subsequent email out, and y'all will have that available. So get your comments to PSC any which way you want. Also, sign the declaration. It's really, really simple. I mean, I couldn't have asked for any better sort of, concluding bullets. Energy efficiency is the most affordable way and least risky way to meet Florida's energy needs. It saves Florida customers far more money than expensive new power plants. Big power companies are investing in energy efficiency and solar elsewhere. Why not here? And it's the next 10 years of our lives, and that is going to set a huge a boulder in the path of building clean energy future for Florida if we don't activate now. So that leads me to thing 3 and the most fun and important thing you can do the rest of this month. We are getting buses. We are paying for meals. We are going to start at 5 in the morning. We're probably going to get home at 11 p.m. at night. It'll be the most fun, exhausting, and satisfying day you will have had in a long, long time. So find people with clipboards. Rosemary, get in touch with us. Y'all have my email. You know where the Sierra Club office is. Come by and tour the Net Zero building. But let's talk about the next step and things that we need to do in the next couple of weeks to get on those buses and get on the bus.
No, don't go. Don't go. Stay home. Be quiet. Stay quiet.
And thank you all for coming.
Need separate portions.